Let me tell you something you've probably felt, but never had the words to explain. You gave your time. You gave your attention. You gave your effort, your energy, your patience. You showed up again and again and again. And for a while it felt like it was working. She replied fast. She smiled more. She opened up, and you thought, yay, this is it. But then something changed. Not suddenly, not in a way you could point at, just slowly. Her replies got shorter. Her energy felt different. The same conversations didn't feel the same anymore, and you noticed it. Of course you did, but you didn't say anything. Because a part of you thought, maybe I'm overthinking, so you tried harder. You gave more attention, more effort, more time, thinking if I just show her more, she'll feel it again. But she didn't, and that's the part that confused you the most. Because in your mind, you were doing everything right. You were being good, supportive, available, present. Everything you were taught a man should be, so why did it feel like you were slowly losing her? Why did it feel like no matter how much you gave, it was never enough? Because no one told you this. Women don't care about what you do for them in the way you think they do. They don't stay loyal because you were good. They don't stay because you gave everything. And they definitely don't stay just because you tried your best. That's not what creates loyalty. And the sooner you understand that, the sooner everything starts making sense. Because what she actually responds to, what she actually feels, what she actually becomes attached to is not your actions. It's the way you make her feel about herself, and that changes everything. Because now it's not about how much did you give, it's about what did she feel when she was with you. Did she feel excited? Did she feel something different? Did she feel a pull she couldn't explain? Or did she just feel comfortable? Because comfort without emotion, without tension, turns into something dangerous. It turns into indifference. And indifference kills everything. See, that's where most men lose. They think if they become safe, they become irreplaceable. But in reality, they become easy to replace because there's no risk in losing them, no tension, no uncertainty. And without that, there's no emotional intensity. And without emotional intensity, there's no reason to stay. Now think about your situation again. Think about how it started. Back then, you weren't trying this hard. You had your own life, your own focus, your own direction. You weren't constantly checking your phone. You weren't overthinking every message. You were just being, and that's when she felt you the most. That's when she was curious. That's when she was drawn in, because there was something about you she couldn't fully figure out. But slowly you changed, not because you wanted to, but because you cared. You started prioritizing her more. Thinking about her more, adjusting your behavior for her, and without realizing it, you made her the center. And the moment she became the center, you stopped being the man she was curious about. You became predictable. And predictability feels safe, but it doesn't feel exciting. It doesn't create tension, and without tension, attraction slowly fades. Now here's the part that hurts the most. You didn't lose her because you weren't enough. You lost her because you stopped being the version of you that made her feel something. And instead, you became someone who was just trying not to lose her, and that energy, that fear, she felt it. Even if you never said it out loud, because energy doesn't lie, you can say the right words, you can do the right things. But if your energy says, I'm afraid to lose you, that's what she responds to, and fear kills attraction. Every time, now let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how some guys barely try and still get all the attention? While others do everything right and still get ignored? That's not luck, that's emotional impact. Because those men, they're not trying to impress, they're just being. They're grounded, calm, certain. And that certainty creates something powerful because it makes her feel something, and that feeling is what she becomes attached to. Not him, the feeling, and that's why even if she leaves him, she thinks about him because of how he made her feel. Now compare that to someone who just gives and gives and gives. There's no emotional spike, no tension. No depth, just consistency, and consistency alone is not enough, because loyalty is not built on logic. It's built on emotion, and emotion needs contrast, highs and lows, tension and release. Without that, everything feels flat. And when things feel flat, people start looking for something else. Now, this doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you become cold. It means you stop losing yourself trying to keep someone. Because the moment you lose yourself, you lose the very thing that made her feel something in the first place. And that's your presence, your calmness, your direction, your identity. That version of you is what she was attracted to. Not the version that kept trying to prove himself. So stop asking, what more can I do? Start asking, who am I becoming? Because at the end of the day, women are not loyal to effort. They are loyal to emotion, to presence, to identity, to the man who doesn't need to chase because he already knows his value. And when you become that man, you don't need to prove anything because your presence alone does the work. Stop trying to be enough for her and become someone she can't ignore. Samaj Gaya by smiling. Fire ab main asterisk asterisk keynote. One effort creates comfort, not attraction asterisk asterisk co-it. Nadeep expand kar raha hun kiwo kud ek asterisk asterisk mini viral speech asterisk asterisk band j backhand index pointing right natural flow backhand index pointing right emotional build backhand index pointing right. No repetition from above backhand index pointing right relatable plus dark tone hash microphone asterisk asterisk expanded keynote 1 effort creates comfort not attraction asterisk asterisk let's talk about something most men get wronged and not because they're stupid but because they were taught wrong. You were told if you treat her right she'll stay. If you give her everything she'll value you. If you show consistency, she'll never leave. Sounds fair, right? But real life doesn't work like that because what you think builds attraction actually builds comfort. And comfort feels good, but it doesn't create desire. See, effort is predictable. When you text her every morning, reply instantly, always agreed, always show up, you're not creating excitement. You're creating a pattern, and the human mind adapts to patterns very fast. What once felt special becomes normal. What once gave her butterflies becomes expected, and what becomes expected loses its emotional impact. That's the part no one tells you because you think if I stop doing this, she'll lose interest. But in reality, doing it too much is exactly why she starts losing interest. Because there's no space left for her to feel anything new, no space for curiosity, no space for anticipation. Everything is already there, and when everything is available, nothing feels valuable. Think about it. The moments that hit the hardest are never the ones that are guaranteed. It's the unexpected message. The sudden shift in tone, the moment where she's not fully sure but feels something anyway, that uncertainty, that slight emotional tension, that's what creates attraction. Not effort. Effort only maintains something after attraction already exists, but it cannot create it. And it definitely cannot bring it back once it fades. Now here's where it gets deeper. When you give too much effort, you're not just being nice. You're unconsciously seeking validation. You want her to respond, to appreciate, to reciprocate. And that need changes your energy. Now you're not giving freely. You're giving hoping to get something back. And even if you don't say it, she feels it, because your behavior becomes reactive. You text more when she pulls away. You try harder when she gets distant. You overthink when she becomes quiet. And in doing that, you slowly lose control of yourself. And that's when attraction drops, because attraction isn't built on chasing, it's built on presence. Calm, grounded, unshaken energy, the kind of energy that says, I want you, but I don't need you. That balance is rare. And rare is what people value. But when you overgive, overtext, overinvest, you remove that balance. Now everything is leaning towards her, and when everything leans towards one side, the other side pulls away. It's natural, not because she's evil, not because she's playing games, but because there's no emotional tension left. Everything feels easy, and easy doesn't create desire. Now understand this clearly. You don't need to stop caring. You don't need to become cold. You just need to stop overcompensating. Stop trying to prove your worth through constant effort. Because real value is not loud. It doesn't beg to be seen. It just exists, and people feel it. So instead of asking, how can I do more? Ask yourself, why do I feel like I have to? Because that question reveals everything. Maybe you're afraid she'll lose interest. Maybe you think you're not enough, and that fear is what's driving your effort. Not confidence. An effort driven by fear always leads to the same place: burnout, confusion, disappointment, because no matter how much you give, it never fills the gap inside you, and it doesn't make her feel more either. It just makes everything feel heavier, less exciting, less alive, until one day she just feels nothing. And that's when men get confused, because in their mind they did everything right, but attraction was never about doing everything right. It was about making her feel something real, and real feelings don't come from constant effort. They come from emotional contrast, from moments she didn't expect, from energy she can't predict. From a man who is not trying to win her, but simply being himself. Too much effort doesn't make you valuable, it makes you predictable. Samej Gaya by smiling. Vire ab too serious mode me a Gaya height, toe main by *** next level depth *** deraha hoon. Backhand index pointing right ** keynote 2. She attaches to feelings, not actions ** back. Hand index pointing right, same style. ** natural flow plus emotional plus dark plus no repeat ** back hand index pointing right listener collage. Ye merry high story high bomb hash microphone ** expanded keynote 2. She attaches feelings, not actions ** let me say something that might mess with your head a little. You think she stayed because of what you did, the time you gave, the care you showed, the way you were always there, but that's not why she stayed, and it's definitely not why she'll remember you. Because people don't attach to actions, they attach to how those actions made them feel. And that difference is everything. See, you can do all the right things, say all the right words, show up in all the right ways, and still be forgettable. Not because you weren't good enough, but because you didn't create a feeling that stayed, something deeper, something that lingers even when you're not around. Because feelings don't disappear when a person leaves, they echo. That's why she can forget what you said, but never forget how she felt when she was with you. Now think about this carefully. Why does she sometimes miss someone who didn't even treat her that well? Why does her mind go back to someone who wasn't perfect, who wasn't always there, who didn't even try that hard? It doesn't make sense logically, but emotionally it makes perfect sense, because that person made her feel something intense, something unpredictable, something that broke her routine, and the brain is addicted to emotional spikes, not stability, not consistency, spikes, moments where her heart beats a little faster, where she doesn't fully understand what's happening, but she feels it anyway. That confusion, that pull, that emotional tension, that's what creates attachment, not effort. Effort just supports what's already there, but feelings create the connection. Now here's where most men lose control. They think if I do more, she'll feel more. So they increase effort, more messages, more attention, more availability, but feelings don't work like that. You can't force them. In fact, the more you try to force them, the more they disappear, because now it feels unnatural. Now it feels like pressure, and pressure kills emotion. That's why sometimes when you pull back a little, she suddenly starts coming closer, not because you played a trick, but because you gave space for her emotions to breathe, to grow on their own, to exist without being forced. And that's when feelings become real. Now let's go deeper. When she's with you, she's not analyzing your actions logically. She's feeling your presence emotionally. She's asking herself, without words, how do I feel right now? Do I feel alive? Do I feel seen? Do I feel something different? Or do I just feel normal? Because normal is the most dangerous feeling of all. It doesn't hurt, but it doesn't pull her in either, and without that pull, there's no attachment. Now understand this clearly. You can't compete with someone who makes her feel something deeply, even if you're better on paper, even if you treat her better, even if you do everything right, because emotions don't compare logically. They just exist, and once she feels something strong with someone, that memory stays, even if she tries to move on, even if she knows it wasn't perfect, because feelings don't care about logic, they only care about intensity. And that's why you have to stop focusing on actions. Stop asking, what should I do? Start understanding, what does she feel when she's with me? Because that answer determines everything, not your effort, not your intentions, her feelings. Now here's the truth most people avoid. If she didn't feel something strong with you, it doesn't matter how much you gave, it won't stay, it might last for a while, it might look stable, but deep inside it's empty, and empty connections always collapse. Because humans crave emotion, depth, intensity, something that breaks the routine of everyday life, and if you don't provide that, she will find it somewhere else, not because she's disloyal, but because she's human. Now flip this for a second. Think about someone who made you feel something strong. You don't remember every detail, but you remember the feeling. That's how it works. That's how attachment is built. And that's why you have to become someone who creates emotional impact, not through tricks, not through manipulation, but through presence, authenticity, unpredictability, being real without trying too hard, because real emotions can't be faked. They're felt, and once they're felt deeply, they don't go away easily. She won't remember everything you did, but she'll never forget how you made her feel. Samaj Gaya by smiling. Fire Abba Gay Hain *** keynote 3 ** p or you walla thodo. Dangerous hide back, hand index pointing right ***, predictability kills curiosity, *** back, hand index pointing right same flow, *** deep, emotional, dark, no repeat *** back, hand index pointing right listener collage, ye merry high, kahani high, bomb hash microphone *** expanded keynote 3, predictability kills curiosity, ***. Let me tell you where everything starts to die, not with a fight, not with a mistake, but with something that feels completely normal, predictability. At first, it feels like progress. You start understanding each other. You know what she likes. You know how she reacts. Everything becomes smoother, and you think this is good. But what you don't realize is the mystery is disappearing. That feeling where she didn't fully understand you, where she was trying to figure you out, that's what pulled her in. That's what made her think about you. That's what made you different. But now she knows what you'll say. She knows when you'll text. She knows how you'll react. There are no surprises left. No attention, no curiosity, and without curiosity, attention starts fading, slowly, silently, because the human mind is not designed to stay excited by what it already understands. Craves discovery. That's why the beginning always feels intense, because everything is unknown, every message matters, every interaction feels new, there's a slight uncertainty, a slight tension, and that tension creates attraction. But once everything becomes predictable, the brain stops investing energy, because there's nothing left to figure out. Now, here's where it gets dangerous. You think being predictable means being reliable. And yes, reliability builds trust, but attraction is not built on trust alone. It's built on emotional stimulation, and stimulation requires variation, something unexpected, something different. Without that, everything feels flat, and when things feel flat, people start disconnecting, not consciously, but emotionally. That's why she doesn't tell you directly. She just feels less excitement, less curiosity, less emotional pull, and you feel it too, but you can't explain it, because technically nothing is wrong. You're still talking, still meeting, still connected, but something is missing, and that something is unpredictability. Now think about your behavior. You reply instantly. You're always available. You always say yes. You never challenge. You never create space. Everything about you is easy to understand, and when someone becomes too easy to understand, they become easy to overlook, because there's no effort required anymore, no emotional investment. And without investment, there's no attachment. Now this doesn't mean you play games. It means you stop being overly predictable. Stop reacting the same way every time. Stop making everything so certain, because certainty removes excitement, and excitement is what keeps attraction alive. Let's go deeper. Curiosity is not just about mystery. It's about emotional engagement. When she doesn't fully know what you're thinking, when she can't fully predict your next move, her mind stays active. She thinks about you more. She replays conversations. She wonders, and that wondering creates attachment. But when everything is clear, there's nothing to think about, nothing to imagine, and imagination is where attraction grows. Now here's the part that hits hard. You didn't lose her because you changed into someone bad. You lost her because you became too easy to read, too available, too consistent in a predictable way. You removed all emotional tension, and without tension there's no spark, no energy, just comfort, and comfort alone is never enough. Now imagine this. If she already knows what you'll do, what you'll say, how you'll react, why would she feel excited? There's no discovery left, and discovery is what keeps people emotionally hooked. So instead of trying to be perfect, start being real, sometimes unpredictable, sometimes unavailable, sometimes different, not as a strategy, but as a reflection of your own life. Because you're not supposed to revolve around her. You're supposed to have your own rhythm, your own pace, your own energy, and when you do that, you naturally become less predictable, more interesting, more engaging, because now she can't fully figure you out again, and that's where curiosity comes back. That's where attraction rebuilds, not through effort, but through emotional uncertainty, the kind that makes her think there's something about him, and she can't explain it. Fire asterisk asterisk ending line, asterisk asterisk, the moment she fully figures you out is the moment she slowly loses interest. Samaj Gaya by smiling. Fire Abba Gay Hain asterisk asterisk keynote 4 asterisk asterisk P or Ye Walla Sabs Zayada dangerous high backhand index pointing right asterisk asterisk. Fear of losing her equals losing her faster. Neediness destroys value asterisk asterisk backhand index pointing right same flow. Asterisk asterisk deep, emotional, dark, no repeat asterisk asterisk backhand index pointing right listener co-seed. A hit care bomb hash microphone asterisk asterisk expanded keynote 4. Fear of losing her equals losing her faster. Asterisk asterisk let's talk about the moment everything starts slipping, not when she leaves, but when you start feeling like you might lose her. That small shift inside you, that quiet fear, that voice in your head saying, something's off, and from that moment, everything you do changes. Not outside, but inside, and that's where the damage begins, because now you're not acting from confidence anymore. You're reacting from fear, and fear is something she can feel without you saying a single word. You text a little faster, you wait a little longer for replies, you check your phone more often. You start overthinking simple things. Why did she reply like that? Why is she online but not texting me? Did I do something wrong? And slowly you lose your center. You stop being grounded. Now your mood depends on her, your energy depends on her, and that shifty is everything. Because the man she was attracted to was stable, calm, focused, unshaken, but now you're uncertain. And uncertainty, when it comes from you, feels like weakness, not mystery, weakness. Now understand this clearly. There's a difference between not knowing someone and watching someone lose control. The first creates curiosity, the second kills attraction. Because when you start needing her more than you need your own stability, you unconsciously give away your value. Now she's no longer chasing your presence. She's feeling responsible for your emotions, and that's heavy. Too heavy because attraction can't grow where pressure exists, and neediness creates pressure. You don't even realize it, but your actions start saying, I need you to stay, I need your attention, I need your validation. Even if your words don't say it, your energy does. And energy is louder than words. Now here's the painful truth. The more you try to hold on, the faster things slip away. Because you're not holding her with strength, you're holding her with fear, and fear doesn't attract. It repels every time. That's why the more you chase, the more distant she becomes, not because she wants to hurt you, but because your energy is pushing her away. It's too much, too intense, too dependent. Independence kills attraction faster than anything else because attraction needs space. Freedom, the feeling of choice, not obligation, the moment she feels like she has to be there for you emotional, something inside her pulls back. Because now it's not exciting anymore. It feels like responsibility, and nobody feels attracted to responsibility. Now let's go even deeper. When you fear losing her, you stop being yourself. You start filtering your words, overthinking your actions, trying to say the right thing, and in doing that, you lose authenticity. And authenticity is what creates real connection. So now even your effort feels forced, not natural. And she feels that because real emotions flow effortlessly, but forced behavior feels off, even if it looks perfect. Now here's the part that most men ignore. The moment you start fearing loss, you've already placed her above you. And attraction cannot survive in that position because attraction needs balance, mutual interest, mutual energy, not one person chasing while the other pulls away. And once that imbalance starts, it grows. You give more, she gives less. You try harder, she disconnects more, until one day you realize you're the only one trying. And by then, she's already gone emotionally. Now listen carefully. You don't fix this by trying harder. You fix this by regaining control of yourself, your emotions, your focus, your identity, because the moment you become stable again, everything changes. Not instantly, but gradually, your energy shifts, your presence changes, and suddenly you're not chasing anymore. You're choosing, and that difference is powerful, because when a man chooses instead of needing, he becomes attractive again. Not because he did something new, but because he returned to who he was, grounded, centered. Unshaken, that's the version she felt in the beginning, and that's the version that creates real attraction. Fire, asterisk, asterisk, ending line, asterisk, asterisk, the moment you fear losing her is the moment you start losing yourself. Bilkul by smiling, fire backhand index, pointing right, asterisk, asterisk, ye Joe, keynotes, hain not ye high back, bone hain terry puri speech, kai, asterisk, asterisk, main Joe long, script d thigh, plus ye expanded parts, sab naturally in, high points tack build hot a hain bomb listener ko pata by na high chalta or end me seed, ha impact lag to high, ab aja asterisk asterisk keynote 5 asterisk asterisk p ye sabs, emotional high back, hand index pointing down hash microphone asterisk asterisk expanded keynote 5, you lost her when you stopped being yourself, asterisk asterisk let me tell you the part no one wants to accept, you didn't lose her suddenly, you lost her in small moments, moments where you chose to be someone else. Not because you wanted to lie, but because you wanted to keep her. And that's where everything started breaking. Because in the beginning you weren't trying this hard, you were natural, you said what you felt, you acted how you wanted, you didn't overthink every move, you weren't perfect, but you were real, and that's what she connected with, that raw version of you that didn't need approval, that didn't seek validation, that just existed with confidence, but slowly. Things changed, you started caring more, and caring itself isn't the problem. The problem is what you did because of it. You started adjusting, changing small things, holding back your opinions, agreeing more than you actually felt, laughing at things you didn't even find funny, saying it's okay, when it really wasn't, and each time you did that, you lost a small piece of yourself, not enough to notice immediately, but enough to change your energy, because now you're not being real, you're being careful, and there's a difference, a big one. Being real creates connection. Being careful creates distance, because when you're careful, you're filtering yourself, and filtered emotions don't feel strong, they feel controlled, safe but not deep, and depth is what creates attachment. Now here's the hard truth. She didn't fall for the version of you that kept trying to please her. She fell for the version that didn't need to, the one who had his own opinions, his own direction, his own energy, the one who could walk away if something didn't feel right. That version of you had power, not over her but over himself, and self-control is attractive, but when you started changing yourself, you gave that power away. Now your behavior depends on her mood, her reactions, her attention, and slowly you stop leading your own life. You start orbiting around hers, and that shift is visible, not logically, but emotionally. She feels it, that you're no longer the same, that something is off, even if she can't explain it, because what she felt before isn't there anymore. That raw energy, that unpredictability, that realness, it's gone, and in its place is someone who's trying too hard, trying to be liked, trying to be enough, and trying never feels as strong as being. Now this is where most men get confused. They think, I changed for her, why didn't it work? But attraction doesn't grow when you change yourself to fit someone. It grows when you stay true to who you are, because authenticity creates emotional impact, and emotional impact creates memory. Now imagine this, if you're constantly adjusting yourself, who is she actually connecting with, the real you, or the version you created to keep her interested? Because those two are not the same, and deep down she knows it. That's why something feels missing, even if everything looks fine on the surface. Now here's the part that hits hardest. The more you try to be perfect for her, the more you lose the only thing that made you attractive in the first place, yourself, your natural energy, your real thoughts, your unfiltered presence, and without that there's nothing real left to connect with, just behavior, and behavior alone doesn't create deep attraction. Now listen carefully, you don't get her back by trying to be better. You get your power back by becoming real again, saying what you actually feel, doing what actually aligns with you, not what you think will keep her, because the moment you stop acting from fear and start acting from truth, everything changes, your energy shifts, your presence strengthens, and even if she doesn't come back, you become someone who doesn't lose himself again, and that is real power. Fire asterisk asterisk ending line, asterisk asterisk, she didn't lose feelings for you, she lost the real you.